So, starting off, I read a lot of different things about Elizabeth Wilkerson's original work, as far as it being something that was a big undertaking to turn into film, and some said it was like unfilmable. How did you take this work and create it and craft it into such a beautiful story?
Well, yes. I mean, Isabel Wilkerson's book Caste was a bestseller. It was a book that everyone was talking about, but it's a nonfiction book. It's heavy on facts and figures and anecdotes, but it doesn't have a story, a beginning, middle, and end. So that's what we look for as screenwriters when we're adapting work. We look for, oh, this is the story. This person does this, this, and this, and I like this person. We didn't have that in this book, but there was a lot in the book that I wanted to share. So I had to come up with who that person would be, who would be the main character. And my idea was that the main character would be the author herself, this dynamic Black woman who, in the midst of a lot of personal loss and pain, decided to write a book. To really anchor her to the world, to organize her thoughts about her place in society, and to share what she found with us. And so that is what the film Origin is. It's the journey of Isabel Wilkerson as she writes the book Caste.
So, the story in Origin is beautiful, and through your direction of Ingenue together collaboratively just comes across so well. What was that process like crafting the character and working with Ingenue? I read that you guys spent a lot of time working out the character, as you also spent a lot of time with Isabel, getting information for her to put the character together.
Yes, well, Aunjune Ellis Taylor is a singular acting talent. And I think for me, my collaboration with her was my most rigorous actor director relationship that I've had in my career, intellectually rigorous, I'd say. You know, we had many, many conversations and many debates and many nights and days researching things and sharing information in books and poetry and ideas and art and talking about politics and culture and history. And so it was a thrill to work side by side with a sister who has that, robust of a mind. And so the collaboration was very close. And I think her performance is a result of just a really beautiful teamwork.
So, as far as your career, you started off independent and then you folded into bigger budgets and bigger studio things. But with this particular project, it went back to independent. What was that process like? And do you think that this is a film you only could have made after the journey of the previous ones to come together to this point?
Wow, that's a really smart question. Yes, I certainly think that my preparedness for being able to direct it was is predicated on everything I did before. International locations I had done already with A Wrinkle in Time, very large crew I had done on When They See Us, deep research and historical analysis I'd done on 13th. Hit period pieces and history I had done on Selma, and independent production, doing it on your own with no studio. I had done on I Will Follow and Middle of Nowhere, my early work. But then also just kind of knowing that I can produce out of my own company, Array, with my producing partner, Paul Garnes, two Black independent producers making things. I learned over 7 seasons of Queen Sugar. Yeah, we know how to do this. We can do this. We've been doing this. And so all of those experiences came together in Origin, and I felt like I had everything in my toolkit, all my tools were sharp and ready. And we went out and we did this. We didn't ask permission from the studios. We raised the money independently through nonprofit organizations. And this film is really an example of what you can do when you don't wait for permission. Because if we had asked for permission, we'd still be waiting. And instead, we have a film that is about something that I hope people watch, embrace, discuss, disagree with, explore, interrogate, that opens on January 19th. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of not waiting and doing.
So, kind of along those lines, you make an effort in your work to highlight women and people of color. So, what is it that you take with you from each of those projects, and how is that culminated, sort of in Origin?
Well, I make films and television shows about what interests me, and I'm always just pursuing my own interests because I believe that if I'm interested in something and I present it compellingly enough, there'll be someone else who's in agreement, and in agreement to at least watch it. And so I don't put pressure on myself that I have to carry the weight of the responsibility of this or that, or convey information or teach people. I'm just a curious person. I'm a person that's interested in the world and my place in it. And when I find something interesting that I want other people to know or I want to talk about, I'll make a movie about it. That's what happened with 13th. That's what happened with When They See Us. That's what happened with Origin. And so I feel fortunate that I have the ability to do that, that I have proximity to community that supports me in doing that. And hopefully, God willing, I get the chance to continue.
There was a statement in the film, I believe, racism as the primary language to understand everything is insufficient. I thought that that was a really powerful statement. And to continue, it says everything can't be racist. Something else, something deeper is at work here. So what does that sort of mean to you as far as in the framework of this film and how you laid it out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that um, the American experiments uh, categorization of who we are to be primarily seen through the lens of race is a reduction to the humanity of Black people. That its idea of what is wrong being reduced to race is playing it way too small, is staying focused on symptoms of a much more insidious disease. And I think it behooves the powers that be to keep a lot of people focused on and arguing about one thing as 10 other things are happening over here that we're not looking at. And so that was one of the things that I took from the book. It was an expansion of philosophies and theories and ideas that I just wanted to add to my toolbox. Did I agree with every single thing in the book? Maybe not. Did I enjoy wrestling with that in my own mind? Absolutely. And so that's what the film is. It's an invitation to engage, not to necessarily agree, but to engage with this idea that this sister wrote in the book, that underneath racism, sexism, Islamophobia, homophobia, anti-Semitism, whatever the isms, underneath that is this thing called caste, which basically says in every human situation that we find ourselves in across history, we have used the idea of human hierarchy, that one person is better than another person based on a set of random traits, and that those random traits are used to dictate who has power and status and who doesn't. And that's the core of what I interpreted her as saying in the book. And this is not just her. This is decades long theory. But it's put in a way to just help us have a fluency so that we have different words to talk about the things that are on our mind. And I think that's worth doing.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking time for me. Appreciate you. Have a good day.